So with that, let's jump right into it and start with the first communication idea, impactful communication idea, the Gosling. And no, I'm not talking about a young goose. I'm talking about Canadian heartthrob Ryan Gosling, because Ryan Gosling's in that great movie called The Notebook. And what does he do in that movie? He writes letters, 365 of them, to Rachel McAdams' character. It's a beautiful love story. And the fact is that Ryan Gosling shows us that you can make an impact with letters. Now, I'm not basing this whole idea off of some movie. In fact, everything I talk to you about today are either things I do on a regular basis or things I have experimented with in the past. In 2019, I gave myself a challenge to write letters, one per week, 52 letters to those who had made an impact on me in my life. And there was a couple reasons that I took on this challenge. First, a letter to me is one of the best things in the world to receive. Like, I have kept every single letter I've ever gotten in my life. And the second, I was inspired by a speaker named Hal Elrod. Now, I had the chance to see Hal at the 2019 R4 conference. And Hal is an incredible human being with so many great ideas. But one of Hal's concepts is everyone starts their morning for one of two reasons. Either A, because they have to, or B, because they choose to. So the people who have to wake up at a certain time, something prompts them out of bed. So their alarm's going off, and if they don't get up, they're gonna be late for an appointment or for work, or their kid is screaming at them to make them breakfast before they go off to school. Something prompts those people out of bed, usually at the very last second. But the second group of people, they are the ones who choose to wake up, and usually earlier than they need to. And they typically focus on one of 6 activities. The first is exercise. The second is visualization. The third is meditation. The fourth is positive affirmations. The fifth is reading. And the sixth, the one that stood out to me, is writing, pen to paper writing. Now, what Hal suggests is that you should perhaps focus on journal writing or gratitude pages, but I took Hal's idea and I tweaked it. And instead of writing to myself, I wrote those letters to other people. And so while I aimed to send out 52 letters throughout the year, I had no expectations of what the response would be. The whole reason I was doing this is because I knew if letters mean this much to me, even if they mean a fraction of that amount to other people, this is going to be a worthwhile process. Now, the results were incredibly interesting. First off, I heard back from almost everyone I sent a letter to. All of them said it made their day or their week. About a quarter of the people wrote a letter back to me, which, like I say, that's one of my favorite things to receive. So that was a really great experience. But one of the results that really was interesting was the number of people who told me that they hadn't received a letter in 5 years, in 10 years, in some cases ever. There was one particular guy that I knew from high school, and I wrote a letter to him in April 2019. And we were friends in high school. We've stayed decent friends over the years. And I was surprised because he's one of the people I thought I might have heard back from, but I didn't. That was until April 2020. And he gave me a phone call for a different reason, and we were chatting for a while, and at the end of that conversation, he said, "By the way, Wade, I never told you this, but I got your letter last year." And at the time, I was having some struggles with my work, and there was a few personal challenges, and it meant a lot to me. I actually keep that letter on my dining room table, and I probably go back to it about once a month and read through it. And I just needed you to know that that meant a lot. Right there, if I didn't hear from the 51 other people I wrote to, that whole process was worth it based on that one situation. When's the last time somebody said that about an email that you wrote? Like, wow, Karen, did you use Helvetica in this? Like, I am gonna frame this, I'm gonna put it up, I'm gonna read it every day. No, people would never say that about an email. Letters are different. letters are impactful. So here's the Gosling challenge. I challenge you to write 8 letters by hand over the next 2 months. That's 1 per week on average. Now these letters could be to a coworker, maybe to somebody who you met at another conference, another agent. It could be to your spouse. It could be to your kids. When's the last time you wrote your kids a letter telling them that you were proud of them? Letters are impactful.